All right, so Shell is on the tarmac there, and you can see the Delta charter flight back from New Orleans there, arriving at GSP. Not how the Tigers would like to arrive today. They did not win that national championship last night, but they had a great season, folks, undefeated until last night up against the LSU Tigers. So once again, if you are just joining us, the team is now on the tarmac at GSP International, where they will be walking off of that plane, heading those young buses. We will be going now to Shell Ramin. She was at the watch party last night. She's now on the tarmac to bring us continuing coverage.
Yeah, hey, Cody, Delta 88, 92 just landed. We are moving our cameras a little bit around because, as you can imagine, it's pretty crowded on this tarmac. Everybody wants to take a look at these Clemson Tigers arriving, whether they won the national championship or not. This is a team that everybody really wants to get behind, win or lose, and that's exactly what I saw last night in downtown Clemson. You had all of those students, their eyes just glued to the TV as the first half of the game was kind of neck and neck there for a while, and then the skies opened up, a complete downpour out there. They didn't go anywhere, and that's what really sets this team apart. That's why you see welcome parties coming back even after a defeat like the national championship. And the plane that you see right here, that is carrying the entire Clemson team along with head coach Dabo Swinney. As you mentioned, Cody, definitely not the way that they wanted to return to the upstate, but they are heading back to Tiger Town after this, where we know that they will be welcomed with open arms after such an incredible season. Keep in mind, 29 straight wins. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Everybody who I spoke to last night said the thing that really stands out about Clemson is that it's a family, a community-oriented school. So that's what really keeps their unit so tight. And you can see that this plane is getting closer and closer to us. They were actually supposed to arrive at 5 o'clock. So we kind of scrambled to get to the airport to welcome these guys back and to welcome them back to the upstate. But the Clemson buses that carry them, they aren't even here yet because of the quick arrival. I know that many people were anxious to get back, many people on the team. I said it earlier, but I want to read a quote from Coach Dabo Swinney. He said, "We all hurt, we're all disappointed, but we're not defined by that. I'm incredibly thankful for our team, such a special group of people." And he said, what an incredible run. He also mentioned that these young men on the team, they handled the defeat with such grace and poise. And I think that's what we really saw throughout the seniors on this team, such leadership coming from that. So hopefully that transpires down to the younger classmen. And when I was out in Clemson last night, some of the sophomores out there said, you know what, we don't even know what it's like to lose. So definitely giving them a little piece of being humble too along the way. You can't always win, and it's getting louder and louder, as you can tell, with the plane coming closer to us. And the buses right now I'm seeing coming in, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buses all being escorted by police. As soon as they get a little bit closer, we'll show you that. But as you can see, definitely a cool sight for them to come back here to the upstate, Cody.
Yeah, Shell, speaking of that winning streak, the Clemson Tigers had not lost in more than 740 days until last night's game against the LSU Tigers. They're basically in their backyard in New Orleans. They're inside the Superdome, and man, you cannot give the LSU Tigers enough credit how Joe Burrow played that game. Just incredible there. And you heard Trevor Lawrence say he just wasn't his night. He did not live up to what he should have. He said that at the podium last night, missed some throws. But again, he said you got to look back on what this team has accomplished. It was Trevor Lawrence's first loss in his college football career, his freshman year, bringing home a national championship title to Clemson. So you see the buses there. They will be pulling up to that Delta charter flight. They'll be unloading pretty soon. You can see the stairwell going up there. I'm sure Dabo and his wife Kathleen will be the first to get off. The Clemson president's on board as well, along with some other dignitaries there from Clemson University, and then of course all of the coaches, their family, and those players as well. For some of them, it will be their last time getting off one of those planes there, heading to a national championship, some of them heading to the NFL. Others will be going on to different paths of their life for those seniors. But again, still a lot of young folks on this team. You have the QB there, Trevor Lawrence, coming back. And you heard Coach Dabo Swinney mention it numerous times last night as he's talked after that game. 6 weeks from tomorrow, they'll start practice again. So they will get right back into this. Some people say, You need to experience a loss sometimes to get better. That's what people were saying last night after this game as well. Of course, Trevor Lawrence, again, experiencing his first loss as a quarterback at Clemson University. But what an incredible year by these Clemson Tigers. They were down in New Orleans. Again, it was a tough game. It was loud in that Superdome. They were taking on the LSU Tigers right in their backyard. It's basically a home game for the LSU Tigers. But if you're just joining us here at 4:13, this Delta flight just landed. Clemson is on board. They'll be walking off momentarily, and we'll bring that to you as it continues. I think we're going to stay on this shot. So you can see again the buses making their way up, and we are just awaiting for those doors to open. We'll check in with Shell here, see what all she has seen out there on the tarmac. Shell, any fans out there?
Not quite yet, Cody. You know, a lot of these fans, they are actually, you know what, if I could have my photographer Edwin pan over here to the inside right here, you can see a lot of these fans are actually standing inside right there. They have a lot of their phones out. They all kind of want to take a peek. But fans, a lot of them are on the outside of the airport right now. So no one's being allowed on the tarmac. We thankfully got the special privilege of seeing this up close and personal to bring it to you guys back at home here. But you can see a lot of those guys kind of pressed up against the glass there, wanting to see with their cell phones, taking some pictures, waving. There's a lot of people actually in Clemson gear up there, and that's what I've been seeing around the airport. You know, all those tiger paws, and yesterday people were saying that's what connects people. You can walk into any place around the country, you can see that tiger paw, and you automatically feel connected. And a lot of people were saying that's what head coach Dabo Swinney has instilled in not only his team, but the community and into the college and into the college town. I want to bring you back over to the buses. You can see just how many it takes to get this team back to Tiger Town, where, as you mentioned, they will be welcomed with open arms regardless of a win or lose there. You know, last year a lot of these players, they were excited to get off the plane because of that tremendous win. This year it's a little bit of a different atmosphere in the air here. It's kind of dreary outside too. It kind of paints the picture, but what an incredible season to have under their belt. And I think they're about to open the door in about any minute here, but there's at least 6 buses all waiting to take these guys back to Clemson right now.
And Shell, again, you can see these buses pulling up. A little bit of a different scene than we saw when they came back from their national championship win. They're kind of blocking the entire plane there, so we're not going to get a very good vantage point here as those players are exiting this Delta charter flight. Again, they probably just want to get back to Clemson, move on with this season, and start looking ahead to next season as well. But of course, we're bringing this to you. You can see GSP Airport out there. They will escort them off the tarmac as they make their way back to Clemson. This shouldn't take too long once those pilots give the all clear for the flight attendants to open those doors. They will pretty quickly get off that plane, get on those buses. Again, not much to cheer for here at this point. Of course, they had a great season, but again, those folks, they've had a long couple of days. They want to get back to Clemson, back to their rooms, get back to their homes, and look ahead to next season as well. So it looks like our camera crew is kind of moving over a little bit so we can get a better vantage point of these players, coaches, and of course some of the other folks from Clemson who are getting off of this plane here at 4:16. We'll go back out to Shell.
Yeah, Cody, we took a different vantage point here to kind of give you guys a better angle. We were far back. We originally didn't know which way the buses were going to come in, so airport security kind of kept us back. Also, just because of the delayed flights with weather and things like that, the different downpours we've been seeing, they've asked us to push back. But we wanted to give you guys a better angle despite being on live TV, just so you can get an up-close look here. And you can see that, security and all these people are surrounding that plane where the head coach, Dabo Swinney, as you mentioned, the entire team, they'll be getting off of the airplane momentarily. And as we mentioned, even though it was a defeat, I mean, it is tremendous to see behind me too all of the people lining up inside of the airport just to get a peek. I mean, this is a team that people are so proud of. Win or lose, they've had so many accomplishments. Take 2016, take 2018. Even the tremendous effort that they put into yesterday. I think that's why all those students being in downtown Clemson were so invested, not in so much the score, but into the players and the way that they played. But as you can see, the door is open, and hopefully we'll be seeing some players make their way out, but thankfully we moved to a different spot just to give you guys a little bit of a better look.
Yeah, Shell, we are now getting this up-close look as the doors are open. The GSP crew there just getting everything lined up, and of course you can see him waving them on. Let's go is what that guy's saying. So they are now starting to deplane here, and again, a little bit different feel than we saw when they arrived in New Orleans and took off from GSP last week. They have nothing, though, to be ashamed about. An incredible season as those Clemson Tigers start deplaning here. A lot of the coaching staff there, other members from Clemson University, you'll see them getting off of this plane, followed by the players as well. There is Kathleen, I think. Yeah, there's Kathleen Sweeney there.
Yeah, Cody, that is, I can see a little bit more clearly right now. That is Miss Kathleen Sweeney right there, welcoming everybody down the stairs. And, you know, last year, you're absolutely right. I was out on the tarmac last year, and, you know, all these players, they kind of had a little bit of swag, a little bit of bounce in their step, if you will, when they deplaned last year. They had their Beats headphones on, you know, whatever else, kind of even dancing as they, you know, got off that plane. And head coach Dabo Sweeney had a huge smile on his face. This year, yes, the atmosphere is a little bit different this year. You know, you can see that they're happy to be back home. They're happy to be back, you know, in the upstate, but definitely not the same hoorah attitude. As you can see, head coach Dabo Sweeney just got off the plane. He's making his way down the stairs where he will lead his Clemson Tigers back to Tiger Town. But, you know, as you can see, they're all still proudly wearing, you know, orange and purple, what we've been seeing all around the airport, all around the upstate, as they put in such tremendous effort into the national championship game. And it really was anybody's game. You know, that first half, it was neck and neck, and that's, you know, towards the end, that's when we really saw things pick up in LSU's favor. So I think Dabo Sweeney, when he went back into the locker room, his best quality, I think a lot of people think, is his motivation, is talking to his players and getting on their level and making them want to back each other. And that translates really to the whole student body and really to the entire community, and such a tremendous team that really all pull for one another. I'm getting off the flight right now and back onto the tarmac here to go back to Clemson.
Yeah, Shells, we mentioned a lot of these players here have never lost a college football game until last night they were in New Orleans. But again, we mentioned, I mean, you cannot find many things wrong with this team. I mean, 29 wins until last night. And again, we are watching the Tigers deplane here. So we're going to head to break, though, because this is kind of what we're just going to be looking at. If you want to continue watching this, we're streaming this on our Facebook page. And we'll also come back here in a couple of minutes and just give you a wrap-up of the Clemson Tigers as they return to the upstate, and already looking ahead because, as Coach Dabo Sweeney mentioned last night, 6 weeks, they will start spring training.